All right, I'm gonna meet you, Aaron, and I'll meet you. We're about to go on live less than a minute.
Cool. Good morning, Max.
Hey, Aaron, how you doing? Can you hear me?
We good.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
All right. So,
how's the new area treating you?
Oh, it's treating me well.
Good. I saw. I didn't get a chance to actually listen to it, but I was strolling through Facebook and I saw one of the little videos that you do. I was like, okay, he on there like he never left.
Yeah. Just trying to make it happen.
Yeah.
good morning to all. Yeah. Razor, Miss Max,
Hey,
Aaron.
Yeah.
Everybody's in the booth in the building, and we getting this thing started on this Sunday. How's everybody feeling today?
I'm good. I'm tripping how every show's it sounds like we start in church, you know.
You know, what they call PK,
everyone.
It's in the blood, Miss Max. It's in the blood, Miss Max. You know, like we make it do what it do. You know.
Hey, he put a donation basket down by his slippers too.
I'm doing pretty good though. I'm excited for a good show. Happy to be with you guys. Looking forward to the guests and our discussion. So everything's great.
Yes, indeed. IMHO Talk Show. Tell a friend. Because we are live on this September the 11th, 2022. And a great show, Miss Max. And the folks know how to reach us, I hope, by now. But if you're new to us, if you're in our local listening area, 101.3 is the flagship station. But anywhere worldwide, let your family and friends know they can stream on your favorite radio app, WVAI, on the social media. Vinegar Hills YouTube page got us live, 101 Jams, and In My Humble Opinion Talk Show on Facebook, live streaming us. Man, you know, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, Miss Max. How does that make you feel?
Sounds good. And listen, I don't want the viewers to forget that they can always chime into the show. If they have a question for the guest, they want to make a comment or what have you. You can call the studios at 434-422-9101.
That's right. And hopefully Razor don't hang up on you.
He will.
Hey, I am so glad to be back here. Me and Max have been out of commission for almost 4 months, you know, for the blessing that God bestowed on us. But I am so thankful to be back here with the listening audience.
Definitely glad to have you, man. And Miss Max, we are already joined by a guest, but you know, quick wellness check. You know, as we dive into things, Aaron, first show out of pocket. How's it feel to be out of pocket? How you doing, my man?
Oh, brother, I'm in pocket. I ain't never out of pocket. Nah, I'm
When you
feeling
got
good.
deep pockets, you always
I
got
know,
that.
right?
See, here you go. Here you go. Always giving out the church business, bro. Come on, man.
Chairman of the deacon board, right
Yes,
there.
indeed.
Yeah, that's right. And and Razor and Max are already checked in. But
one thing, Charles. Hold
sir.
on.
Yes, sir.
Max, I know I said it. Like, happy birthday. You know, we missed your birthday.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey.
That's right.
Well, I
we missed it
appreciate that.
but not in real time.
Yeah, we missed it in real time, but everybody got a chance to, bless you online. So.
Yeah, this one hit different. I'm just saying. Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. I'm more grateful for a lot of things, and had an opportunity to just reflect on the last year of my life as a whole, last year of my life. And so I'm grateful for a lot of things and have learned a lot that, will help me as I continue to celebrate these birthdays. So
that's right. It's a blessing. Hey, look, the world lost one queen, but our other queen still here celebrating with us, Queen Max. Yeah. Still on this throne. We may get into that later. We're gonna get into that later.
What queen I lose?
Yeah, I said the world. I didn't say us. The world lost the queen. All right. But y'all know how we do. We're gonna get into that a little bit later. But man, what better way to kick off a show than to also have our brother with us here right now. No stranger to the airwaves, worldwide entrepreneur. Brother do big things, been doing it for years, been a great community partner and all that stuff. That's right.
And her humble servant.
That's right. In his own words.
None other than Ty, keep it going.
Give it up for him.
Put me on guard.
That's right. Harlem's finest in the building. How you doing?
You caught me off guard with that one. Happy birthday, Max. I said happy birthday on Facebook, but I wanted to say again, I wanted to sing to you, but Aaron beat me to the punch with telling me. He stole my thunder. But he heard me off air. He heard me off air say, "Oh, I want to say happy birthday," and then he hit it.
Oh man!
Here we go. See, Ty, that's that New York. That's that Harlem Queens. That's that Harlem Queens thing.
Smart guy. That guy Razor sharp over there.
Hey, look, Aaron. You know how the saying goes: Harlem keeps on taking it, Queens keeps on faking it. Hey, hey, man, KRS said that. I ain't say it. That's what KRS said.
Nah. It said Brooklyn keeps on taking it. He said Harlem keeps on making it.
My bad.
Manhattan, but Harlem.
I stand corrected.
Yeah. It's okay.
You have DJ Almighty come in here and clarify that one right here.
Okay.
No, but brother Ty, man, what you been up to? The folks going. We here to hear about Expo, the Black Business Expo, still in full effect. Yeah, you always got events coming up, man. But kind of bring us up to speed, man. Because I want to say last time you were here was that for the Amanda film?
I think it was one.
No.
Yeah.
What was the last one?
In my humble opinion, but I came up here with Troy, with Razor to talk about some other stuff. But
okay.
But yeah, on this show, it was with I bought Richard Cooper, I bought Paige, both of them starred in Amanda. Yeah. Good stuff, man. So
kind of give us the follow up. Like, how did that round out? As far as the reception and everything you did with
dope, man. Dope. We had we touring and we still touring. So the first leg of the tour, we hit. We had 2 sold out screenings in Charlottesville, which was a blessing. We had a sold out screening in Stanton. We did very well in Norfolk. We almost sold out in Richmond, and we hit up DC, and we made money in DC. So we bought home a bag.
It's always good.
Yeah, tell about the accolades.
It's always good.
Yeah, we got some awards, man. Amanda is a 45-minute piece, and that's not ideal for a film festival. So I don't submit it to a lot of film festivals. I created it not for the film festivals. I created it for me to screen it around the country, so I could make that money. So I wanted to my cutoff point before I put it on streaming services to make $100K. To generate 100,000 from ticket sales from screening touring. So I'm doing that. So I'm still doing that, and then once we hit that mark, then I want to get the distribution online for for streaming like Amazon Prime and a couple others.
Okay.
And stuff like that. So,
okay. I'm waiting to shoot your shot at the big screen. When is that going to happen?
What you said? For you?
No. I said when.
Now don't back up now, Max. That man just called you. We need this money.
I said I'm waiting for you to shoot your shot at the big screen. When is that gonna happen?
No, that's what's been happening. I've been screening it myself. I've been out movie theaters.
Yeah, independent.
Myself. Yeah, I'm an indie. I'm an indie guy. You know, I want all my money. I'm stingy.
Okay.
So I don't want the distributor to get my money like that, because on this level, when you're an indie guy on this level, you don't have as much negotiation power. You know what I'm saying? So the way you get that is you screen your own projects, market it, get the following, get the popularity. Already Amanda has a few awards, because I did submit to some film festivals, just not a lot of them. I didn't want to waste my money that way because I have a plan. And I submitted it so that I can, because I knew it would get awarded. Once people see it, people love it. So I knew that it would get awards. So I just sent it to a few of them. I waited. The plan happened like a charm. We got awarded with three different awards. And I used those, thank you. And I used those accolades to help further and promote the film. So it's on the big screen. I rent the big screen. That's all. Yeah.
Good stuff. So now bring us up to date, my man. Like in particular, your up and coming events that we got to school the folks on, let them know what's happening.
Sure. First, before we segue into that, because we were just talking about Amanda, I also produced 2 other films this year.
Okay.
I was in Colorado in July, and I produced a film that was written and directed by a woman named Mary Gaucher, which is called Dystopia. And that's a short film. I produced that, put everything together. That's screening in 2 more weeks, which is be a good segue.
Yeah.
And then also I'm a producer on Eric Hurt's film, which is called Runaway, and I'm one of the producers on that. We have McKinley Belcher from Ozark, the black FBI agent, the guy from Ozark. If you ever watch Ozark, he starred in this. Yeah, he starred in this, and right after we shot Runaway in February, he went to South Africa because he's in another series by Netflix that was shot in South Africa. So we're doing some major things, and that particular film is going to be in the Virginia Film Festival.
That's what's up.
So
Virginia Film Festival.
Yeah.
Another great partners here.
Yeah, definitely. So, but as far as events, the upcoming events, 2 more weeks actually is the Black Business Expo. This is 6 years.
6 years. 6 years, Seville.
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't rain. Can someone who have power? I think.
Right.
I think Troy making so much money and his wife making so much money.
That's right. Do a little dance.
I think that they have a little bit of pull.
Look, I keep generators on the back. What power you need, baby?
So we need to make sure that we hopefully not get rain. But what's different this year? Normally what we do every year, we start at in the afternoon. We start at 12.
Okay.
Right? So usually we start about 12 or we start at 1. Last year we started at 1 because they had the farmers market. But this year, what they did, the XR Park, which I'm happy that they did, for this particular one, they moving the farmers market over and giving us the property that we normally have, and we're gonna start at 10. So this way, the business vendors and stuff like that, they have access to the walk-up traffic that's already there from the farmers market, which is going to be over to the left some. Yeah, you know what I mean? So now I feel really excited about this one because, I'm excited about all of them, but I feel really good because, we got to work to get the people to come, for a business expo, right? A lot of people don't come early. They typically will come like later when it's time to see the concert that we have at the end. Yeah. So they start to come like mid-afternoon, which is cool. I mean, but it's great so that we can have people that's already there from someone else's efforts. And not just our own. So I feel good about that.
That's what's up. And family and friends, we are joined by LifeView Marketing's own Ty Cooper, and in particular, Charlottesville and Albemarle Black Business Expo. That's Saturday, September 24th, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. over at the XR Park. And for business booths, panel discussions, live music, and to learn more, blackbusinessexpo.org. And it's a free event.
Yeah, it's free. 100% free.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it's free. It's free for the vendors and it's free for the people. We don't make any money off of it. We don't charge a soul. We just want people to come support black-owned businesses because it's just what it is. We know where we are. Yeah. And we need that. We need that support to our black business owners. And a shout out to NBA too, the Black Business Alliance.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, the Minority Business Alliance. I mean, they did such a great event this weekend, and I saw Charles. Charles was over there looking real good. He had his things on.
Had my Capone suit on.
Yeah. His wife was looking spectacular. She always come out. She always show out.
That's right.
And,
appreciate that.
Yeah, family was in there, man. I really appreciate it. I was one of the co-founders of that organization, and it feels good to 10 years later to see what's been going on.
Yeah, man.
From our efforts in the early stages.
Yeah.
So
you know, that's so crucial because it's so easily like we get wrapped up in, you know, like in the granular details of what's wrong, and we sometimes forget our accomplishments. You know, because it actually slipped my mind sort of that the dialogue on race sort of sparked the idea, you know, that you and others kind of, you know, put into fruition. I was a part of the dialogue as well. And so, man, and to see Andrea Copeland get her flowers.
Yeah.
She's been an integral part all 10 years.
Andrea, you know, and that's when she has started working with the Chamber of Commerce, and she was really shepherding that situation. But the fact that one thing I love about Andrea is that she works for the chamber, but she's an advocate and a fighter for the MBA. She always had been. When we first started, it was called the Minority Business Council at first, and she was like, you know that she was employed by them, but you knew every action, every word, every move that she made was about us.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why they call her the glue.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's why they call her the glue.
Yeah. So I honor her deeply
man.
for that. And I think I left about 3 years after we started, and we started the Young Black Professional Network.
That's right.
For a different purpose. And I don't need to go into it deeply here, but it was a different thing. It was different. It was just different.
Yeah. So you know the crazy part about that, like I was digging through some dresser drawers, cleaning out and stuff. I found that Seville Weekly cover article. Do you know that this coming February is going to be the 10-year anniversary of it?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's crazy, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so you're gonna have Ebony Groove there performing. Rochelle Claiborne. But you know, I know the guys want to chime in as well. Like one thing I'm curious about is like what's different when it comes to the need, 6th year. But like when you look at the need for a Black Business Expo, and when you look at what sort of education, what sort of information is needed, what's different about this year, or like sort of what's the target for this year?
It's the same, man. Unfortunately, you know, I would love to say that there's, you know, we satisfy the need already, and we addressing other needs. Man, unfortunately, the needs are still here, man.
You know, that's I can respect that answer, Ty, because so many people, you know, when they get asked questions like that, want to talk about what they've done and make it sound bigger than what it actually is. So I can respect you saying like we still got the same work to do.
Same work to do.
I can't respect it. Hold on, I got to let me.
Go ahead, please do.
Now,
please.
Now, y'all missing a part. Y'all almost touched on it each time, right? But y'all missed something.
Okay.
Ty,
yes.
Why do you do what you do, and who are you? Too often you come up here and you talk about the things that you're part of, right?
Yeah.
I've been around you long enough where I'm starting to crack the crust. So I'm gonna call you out on air. Why is it that you start to do what you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, who is Ty Cooper when it comes to this? Nobody ever asked you that.
Let me tell you something, man. When I started my company in 1993 at Norfolk State University, and you know, I was just about the money. You know what I mean? I was doing events, promoting concerts and shows, bus trips, all the stuff, right? I'm a partner with BET. I'm partner with Coca-Cola. So I had reached a certain success at a very young age. It just showed, being a promoter is, you become popular, and if you're doing all the right things, you become national.
And now,
so for me, it was more about just the money. And then fast forward, man, when you get a little older, you become really more about community. You know what I mean? You really kind of like, you sit back and be like, man, what's really important, man? If I die today, what people going to be talking about me? What's my legacy? Right. You know what I mean? What's my legacy? And so for me, I'm always about arts and culture. That's arts and culture and education, number one. Well, I guess tied for number one, arts, culture, and education. And then secondly is trying to figure out what else can I do for my community. And when I look in Charlottesville, I'm looking at Black business. You know, we have a movement with Black businesses. We have a United Way that's teaming up and providing grants with the BMA, MBA. You have MBA doing a lot of different things. You have the city really supporting this movement as well. So this is a time, man, to captivate and capture a movement, man. That's really like Charlottesville is trying to reckon with the past. You know what I mean? And there's no mistake. There's no mistake to why we started the Black Business Expo in 2017. It was right after, it was a month after, excuse me, it was a month after, about 2 months after
the summer.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was right then. So we did it because of that purpose.
Yeah.
You know, and then people were really, yo, I don't want to say, yeah, I do what I do. I say what I say all the time anyway. I have no real filter.
Let's go.
But at that moment, people were excited, support Black.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, that died down a bit. You know what I mean? Like, you know, they were gung ho with that. And then now, you know, I think I post on Facebook sometimes like, yo, are y'all still supporting Black? You know what I mean? Because I see a dwindling of it, you know, not being what it was. So, you know, so when you're in that kind of town, that city, you just got to keep on doing it, man. So that's why I said the same thing is needed, and that's why I jump into it, because at my older age, man, I want to have a legacy when I pass away. People be like, yo, Ty did that Black Business Expo. People say I got money from that. I won that business pitch competition. That $1,500 helped me out. You know, that commercial that he did for me as a prize helped me out. You know, I met this person, that person. I got involved with CIC because of the Black Business Expo. I didn't know CIC existed, but when I set up there, they had a booth. Boom, boom, boom. So I want people to talk about me that way. I don't care what people say about me when I'm. What's funny is that I don't care what people say about me when I'm alive. Yeah. That's crazy. Isn't that kind of crazy? I'm not going to know what they're going to say about me then, but I don't care what they say about me now. Yeah. Well, I do care about my legacy, and that's why I started my family scholarship fund in Harlem to give college students money. You know, I give them $1,000, and every year it goes up 25%. You know what I mean? I come out of my pocket. I didn't raise any funds for that. So that's what it is, man.
That's what's up, man.
That's the tactical I know.
Yeah.
That's the time I know.
Yeah, now let me ask you this, man. Like so we have different events that's of the same ilk as the Black Business Expo. Do you see that as good, and do you think we should have as many of these type of events as possible? And like, where do you see the need where we need to come together more and do something even bigger?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you this. I have a two-sided, right? I have this thing, like I said, about more of community outreach, and then I have my private business, which is I'm very highly competitive. If you do a step and dance competition, a comedy show, a film event, you're my competition. I'm out to not provide the market with options. I want to be the only option.
I feel you,
When it comes out to my community events, the more the merrier.
So it's not enough money out here for everybody?
No, it's not. Not in this town. Nah, this is not New York. This is not New York. Neither is this town, Norfolk. We have
that's deep.
Between Albemarle County and Charlottesville, we have 200-something thousand people. That's just not enough money. You know what I mean? Especially depending on what we're doing.
Right.
So, no, it's not. But if we was in a larger market, it would be. But still, I'm still very competitive in my private business. So it is what it is. Like if you're doing a branding video, there's no way I want you around. I don't want you around. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I'm a businessman.
That's it. So now, you said it was two sides. So that's one side. But when you look at being a community person, like you feel like it's good for the community.
Yes, very good. The more the merrier.
It's like healthy competition.
Yes, the more the merrier. And I didn't even look at it as competition with the Business Expo. The more the merrier. It's about resources, providing resources. Right. So for instance, if I'm able, if CIC is a sponsor of the business pitch competition with the Black Business Expo. If we are promoting this event and we're only giving out $1,500, then we need more events to give out more money.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And then in Black Business Expo, we are part of the Minority Business Week, or month at that, but I think it's the week. And we need more of this. Like one is just not enough. Like my event is just not enough.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not enough. So and that's why we don't charge, because we want this to be available for people to be able to attend. You know, Cassandra, you know, who owns the Vegan Comfort catering. She sold out all her food. She sold out her food last year. She sold out. She won second place in the business pitch competition. She's coming back. They're about to get a truck. Like, I mean, that's what I want to see. I want to see those humble beginnings and us having a hand at helping to really land that. And, you know what I mean? And we need more expos. We need more of those type of things. And one is not enough. So I have it's not a competition thing with that. I'm competition. I'm competitive on the other side.
That's what's up, man.
Hey, Charles.
So it's one thing, it's one thing to increase the demand, but what about the supply? Like, are Black businesses taking advantage of these expos, or the Minority Business Alliance, or whatever else organization is set up to help them, you know, kind of prosper? Um, are they taking advantage of it in a way that you would like, or at a rate that you would like, or do they need to, you know, make some changes too?
Yeah, I would say they're not taking advantage of it at the rate that I want to.
Okay.
They've really been kind of slow. Like even with the Black Business Expo, we're about to sell out of our space, which is amazing. But it's taking a while. We got 2 weeks left. I've been promoting this for like 4 months. Right. So I don't, you know, I mean, I don't think it's fast enough. I think that there's like there may be hesitation. I don't know what that hesitation was. But it's just not as fast as I would like for it to be. But you know, people are stepping up. You know, we just had probably about a good 8 new registrants within the past week. That's pretty good. You know, yeah, that's pretty good. So we're gonna have we're looking at having about 40. You know, 40 is like our cutoff. I said 36. I have a booth, but what I may do, I may just if I get the demand for it, I'll remove my booth. I take my booth out and give it to someone else. Right. But I just want people to have the opportunity. But yeah, so Max, I would say it's not at the rate. I'm not satisfied at the rate, but I am pretty cool with the fact that we are about to sell out. But it's just taking kind of long, you know. And I can't speak to the resources that they take advantage of in other organizations because I'm not in those organizations. At least actively, I'm not. You know, I'm a member of NBA, but I'm not an active member anymore. So I just have to kind of, I'm hoping that they do, but I do know that and this doesn't mean that it's for minority businesses, but the city had the brace grant, and they had like 80 something people apply, and I know some of the people who applied who are Black to get the money. So they are like out there trying to get the resources. So I just don't know how many were Black owned businesses. You know?
Yeah, and we're gonna get ready to take a break, but I think Aaron has something before we switch gears.
Quick question for Ty, but Charles, I want to remind you that the great American philosopher Nasir Jones said, "Queen's brothers run your brothers." Ask Russell Simmons. So I just want to make sure you remember that.
I'm sorry, Ty. He always starting something. Like we can't have nobody from the tri-state area here without him showing off.
But actually, but Ty was spitting some real stuff, and I was listening to somebody last night, and I think I wanted to get Ty's perspective on it. Is that, you know, specifically for Black businesses, we do very well individualized, but the one thing I don't think that we realize, and I love the fact that Ty also uses the word compete, because that's essentially what we're in, is competition. But what do we have to do to get Black businesses, Black corporate folks to learn that we need to compete in group economics? Because so many times everything is very individualized. Yeah. But I'll be honest, Ty, I think you're like me. I don't get excited if I'm doing well as an individual, but my group is struggling. There's no incentive in me doing well, and I look back and the group is not doing well. I know you probably think about this a lot, but what are some things that we just have to get to do as a group to help Black people understand we need to compete as a group economically?
Man, I don't want to sound corny, but I'm just going to state the fact. Yeah, we got to love one another first and foremost.
That's not corny. I see it all the time.
Yeah, we have to love one another, man. And I think you know, we have to look at, unfortunately, I would say we have to look at Asian communities and Latino communities, man. They do that. They believe in group economics. They believe in motivating one another, helping one another out, and pushing forward. And even though they may look at some things as competition, but you have a Chinatown for a reason. That's right. Chinatown. You know what I'm saying? We don't have a Black town. We don't have that. So we once had it, but with integration, integration kind of really chops things up, and you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna go deep on that, but you know, I think that it's very important for us to kind of really like look at one another's respective businesses, seeing how we can use some of the resources to, like, you know, to lift one another up and give us a hand. I just think it's really important. And I think that we do go out as individuals and don't think about, okay, how can I support this Black radio station? All right. Okay, so what do I need in my business, right? I need, if I have a brick and mortar, right, I need windows clean. I need windows installed. I need floors installed. I need different things. And so, you know what I mean? So then we all coming up. We using one another. We utilizing one another. And we actually create an economy within ourselves. And then we could skyrocket and kind of go up. And then
I'm surprised you just didn't say education. Financial literacy.
I mean, of course, that's I look at financial literacy not in the business world. I look at that as like that's part of your foundation. Like you need that before you can even become successful. You know, you're gonna spend all your money, you're gonna put it in bad places. And some people didn't weather the storm of COVID.
Yeah,
that's right.
Some restaurants shut down in 3 months instead of a year. And my psyche is like, you shut down in 3 months? Like, so you didn't. So when I went to school, my professor always said, some people, they say have 6 months in the bank of rent, have a year. That was for me. So I'm like, you shutting down in 3 months? You were ill. That business was ill prepared for anything.
Say so, bro. Yeah, say so. So family, tell a friend, and that we're streaming and broadcasting worldwide right about now with none other than Life View Marketing, Todd Cooper. And we're gonna take a quick break, and then before we let him go, we're gonna get into to the other events and happenings that he has coming up, right? And if y'all have any questions or anything, you know how to reach us. Tell them again, Max.
434-422-9101. Give us a shout if you got any questions for Ty.
That's right. I Am HO Talk Show.
Good question.
In my humble opinion, only.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
You're listening to In My Humble Opinion, only on 101.3 Jams.
You already know. IMHO Talk Show. Still here, still standing, y'all. Like we never left. And like we got Harlem's own Ty Cooper. Like when you play a track like that,
I love
and
it.
Ty, go ahead and shout out your show, by the way, because you said that was the first song you played on your show.
It was the first Mel song.
Okay.
By Mel. I had Police. I pumped Police a couple of times. Police
That's what's
from
up.
Harlem. She's a Harlem night, and so I had Harlem. I had Harlem for the first hour. I had to. It was my first show.
Yeah,
so I had to.
You got to do it, right?
You know what I mean, but yeah, it's called Cultural Vibes Radio with Ty Cooper. I don't know if Jay Quan would appreciate me plugging the show, man. So I'm gonna keep it.
We're gonna keep it moving. Let's keep it moving.
I'm gonna keep it light.
Hey,
That's my guy.
this video last in my home show.
Exactly.
That's what's up,
I'll
bro.
keep it light. That's my guy. I'm keep it light. Because like I said, about competition,
Yeah.
I don't want any.
You know.
That man doesn't want any, so I'm chill. Nah, it's not competition. It's late at night and stuff like that.
Yeah, I feel you. But that don't make both of us step our
Yeah.
game up.
True.
Yeah, but man. So I know you got some more flyers with you, man. Like, so what else is coming up? People should know.
Yeah, man. We have I have another free event for the folks, man. It's October 21st at PVCC. I have the filmmaking workshop. I present a filmmaking workshop that I teach every year. This is probably like the 5th year or something like that. But long story short, man, I provide them with hands-on experience. So I do a lecture, right, with a PowerPoint presentation for like at 10 o'clock in the morning. It's from 10 to 2. But we always go to like 10 to like 3 or 4 because people want to stay. But so I do the lecture part for about like hour, a little bit over an hour, and then we go into I break up the group, like the audience into groups, and I teach them how to create a documentary, how you do the research, how you come up with questions, how you you choose someone to be the expert in that field. Yeah. And then what I do, I try to find out, okay, what do people do in that group? Each person, what do you do for a living? And I say, let's say someone's a yoga instructor. I'm like, oh, okay, y'all gonna do a documentary on the history of yoga. She's gonna be the interviewee. She's gonna be the expert. Go online on Google. We're gonna give you a 30-minute break. You come up with your questions, do the research, and then I bring each group onto the stage. And when they're on the stage, I teach them how to do lighting, the microphones, composition. They touching my cameras and all the whole night. Setting up everything. And you can see it on the big screen too. Like what you see in my camera, you see on the big screen. So they're able to see that, So they make them look like they're looking at themselves in the movie. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so we don't edit it on site. I edit it later, but they actually shoot it. And I go through each. It's like each group does a separate documentary type of stuff.
How many people do you typically have?
It just depends. Usually it's about like 15 or under. Okay. Sometimes, and then that's a manageable group. Particularly when you're breaking them up, so they can come on. Each one come on stage and kind of go through their questions and interviewing and stuff like that. They love it, man. And, that's free. That's on October 21st, Friday, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we have the Virginia Film Festival, which is November 2nd through the 6th. That's gonna be amazing. That's gonna be really good. We have a new programmer too, so he's really good. He's out of DC. He just moved down. And November 18th, Friday, we have the United Nations Comedy Tour coming back. Okay. And we have Jordan Rock. Yeah.
Jordan Rock.
Thank you. We have Jordan Rock. That's Chris Rock's brother. We have Eva. We have Sean Donnelly and Liz Milley, top comedians, all national comedians. So that's gonna be fire. Man, I look forward to that. I want to skip over.
Are we gonna hear some Will Smith jokes?
I don't know. I can't tell you that. You gotta come and take. You gotta come. But it's Jordan Rock, and they are not happy. They were not happy.
Right.
Yeah, but
good stuff, man.
Always like 15 kids or something like that.
Not that many, but they
got a big family.
Yeah, it's a pretty sizable family. Yeah. I always ask Jordan, because I brought Jordan to the Paramount in 2015. Yeah, 2015. That was the last time I brought him here. He just been swamped. He's been doing Netflix stuff, Love on Netflix, and a couple other another show on Netflix and some other shows and stuff like that. He's doing his thing, man. I'm really proud of him. Especially when you bring someone before they've been doing that stuff, and then like after, you know what I mean. So it's like I'm just proud of him.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. And so in all those events, folks can go to LifeView Marketing.
Yeah, you can go to LifeView Marketing. Yeah, LifeView Marketing. But the comedy show, go to UnitedNationsOfComedy.com.
Okay.
.net. Sorry. UnitedNationsOfComedy.net. And that would take you to the Paramount website to buy tickets. And also you can see the brief bios of everyone as well.
That's what's up, man. So I know the last thing that I have for you before we let you go out, Razor Max Aaron.
I don't want to go.
Hey man, hang out, bro. You can hang out. Hey, but
now you competition, remember?
Hey,
it's time for you to go.
No, I'm not talking about that show. That show does not exist.
But man, I want to applaud you for being able to have the free events, which means that there's some sponsors, and you may want to shout them out, but.
I don't want to miss any. So.
Oh yeah, I feel you. But the question that I.
I'm gonna shout out the comedy show sponsor.
Yeah.
But I have that listed here.
Gotcha. But the question I want to ask you through that though is that that reminds me of how we have sort of a divide and approach when it comes to what Black business means. There's some folks who feel like Black business means you need to be in a Black neighborhood, only employ Black people, you only even sell to Black people. I hear people going that extreme with it.
Wow, that's extreme, yeah.
It's very extreme. But then you have the folks who say, Black owned, and if you support Black business, then that's good enough. So I just want your take. What would be your last message to folks when it comes to
wait a minute, hold on, y'all.
I'm a Black business.
Hold on, y'all. Add to this. So don't let Ty off the, because he knows how to frame stuff real quick. So also we want to talk about the people who exploit Black businesses. They come in as a lamb, and once they get on the they kind of tailor it to their own people. So
tell them what's up.
No, I'm just saying, there's people that come in supporting Black business, right? And after they get the ear of the Black business, they kind of migrate over to whatever they wanted to. It doesn't look like the way that they came in. Yeah. So if you can speak on all three of those.
I'll try. Let me start with the first one. I laugh because it's so comical, man, because people are so silly. They do that, man.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take Charlottesville, because this is where we are, right? Charlottesville has 18% Black. What business can you be hugely successful
on that alone
with 18% of the population? The population here is 50,000 or whatever it is, maybe a little bit more. No, that doesn't work. It doesn't make sense for you to just serve Black, Black people, just serve Black people. A Black-owned business simply means it's a Black person who owns it, owns 51% or more of it. That's what a Black business. Now, if you want to say that, yo, man, I don't do anything, all I do is just Black. I don't want anyone coming to my restaurant. Ask Sabir if he just wants Sabir from her island. Ask him if he just want Black people.
Sabir say, no, I don't.
I do not.
That's exactly how he would say it too.
You know what I mean? As Razor and Max, you know what I'm saying? When they on the downtown mall, how many people of non-Black color came to order up?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's ridiculous. So now, but with me as being a promoter, I always promoted just Black events. Yeah. But I had white people come. If white people were paying me, but guess what? I wasn't in this market. I was in Norfolk, where we have millions of people, in the whole Tidewater.
Yeah.
So I have more people. So I can go to Hampton University, Norfolk State University, Virginia Union, Virginia State. I can go to Shore University in North Carolina, St. Augustine, all these Black colleges, and I could eat and get wealthy. Yeah. And that's what I did. That's how I got wealthy. The Black people made me wealthy at that time. So at that time, I'm able to do the things for Black culture only. I moved to Charlottesville over with dry cleaners, and I migrated from my business because I get bored. It's not about the money for me. It's about accomplishing, doing this, doing that, and all being successful. So for me, coming to Charlottesville and having a screening event at a movie theater that only holds 200 people, and it sells out or whatever, I'm like, I'm loving it because I love doing what I do. My largest event that I ever had had over 6,000 people in it, and that was at Norfolk State University at the arena. I booked the street ball game. Right. From Harlem. I had I'll Be Right Back, Future, White Chocolate, all the guys. So for me, 6,000 people in attendance, 200 people in attendance, to me is both the same.
Yeah.
I'm happy who was in it. I had more black people. I had almost 6,000 black people in this one event. But in Charlottesville, I have less than probably 10% of the people in that audience, but it's sold out. Amanda, if you went to Amanda and see Amanda, it wasn't that many black people in the audience, but I promoted to everyone.
Yeah.
People chose to come and people chose not to come. I can't even imagine myself saying that I'm just going to cater to this. Are you crazy?
Yeah.
That would never happen in my mother. I'm building a house right now. This is a personal thing, right? Building a house in Charlottesville right now. That wouldn't be possible if I had that outlook on life and on my business.
That's true. That's true.
Well, I wouldn't be building in Charlottesville. I'll probably be building. I don't know where I'll be building it.
It'd be building it by that red light right there with that little cardboard box. That's what you're building.
So you know what I mean. So that doesn't. So, God, that's so funny. So it doesn't mean that I don't cater. I do cater. I promote on black radio stations. I go in the hood and pass out my flyers, put my posters up, and do all that. I don't ignore my people. I provide a service for people who got the money to spend to do it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? My branding and marketing company, right? My branding marketing company. I'm creating marketing campaigns for clients, television commercials, branding videos, graphic design, websites, and all that for lifelong marketing individuals. But hey, not everyone has 15 grand to pay for a package.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whomever have that, I don't care about their color. You know what I mean? I don't care about the color.
If you want to be black, just close your eyes.
Oh, you know, I'm gonna do that. They're gonna hate me for it, though. They're gonna hate me. I'm gonna say that. Yeah, I'm put my. Now you're gonna have to hate me more, man. I'm not gonna do it. I don't know. I may do it though. I may put it on my website like, yo, I'll close my eyes. Everybody say black. That's right. I love it. Where you get that from, man?
I don't know. I'm crazy. Like I was raised like
All right, Ty. Well, thank you, man. Miss Max, I'll kick it over to you.
Is crazy.
Yeah, I just want to, thank Ty for sharing his Sunday with us. It's always good to talk to him. It's always good to hear what he's doing in the community and hear his perspective on business. So yeah, good conversation. And I hope that the listeners are really paying attention and learn something from it. So, there's no much more to say than that,
That's right.
And good questions too. I appreciate the questions.
Always, bro.
We're
gonna let you off easy.
Yeah, I really don't. I didn't even answer yours. I'm sorry, but we can get to that later, another day or something. But I really appreciate people digging. You know what I'm saying? Because it really, to me, as a radio host, man, it shows, or any interviewer, it shows that you care about what you're doing, you care about your craft, you care about you being having this platform. Because this is a major platform. It's a major platform for me. You guys provide constantly, and and I attribute part of my success because of the support that I get from like people like you.
That's cool.
Appreciate that, bro.
And other other outlets.
Ty, Max's founding statement for the show was to leave people's life better after we walk away from where we found.
Big facts.
Yeah, as you should, and I think you do, because I listened to the interviews on here, man, and they've been like really some really good interviews, particularly when we have the political season, man. Y'all been some of the politicians here. And I plugged you guys with the Virginia Film Festival, man. So when y'all interviewing Jody and stuff like that, man, y'all always, it's just good, man. It's just an amazing platform. I just hope that we live forever, man, because we need this to kind of go on, man.
Yeah.
The legacy.
Yeah.
That legacy you was talking about.
Yeah. Legacy is everything, man. And I'm gonna leave on this note, man, because I think it's important for people to hear this. Especially I hope there's some young people listening. One of my favorite quotes, well, outside of Malcolm, but one of my favorite quotes is by Andrew Carnegie. He stated that as I get older, I no longer listen to what men say. I watch what they do. So your legacy is not built on what you say. Your legacy is always going to be built on what you do. So just do the work. Don't be afraid. Step out there, do the work. Opposition, in this town, a lot of people feel as though West is divisive and so forth. And West has legacy here. Absolutely. West could drop dead today. You're gonna have people that hate him, but you're gonna talk about the boxing gym. You're gonna talk about the boxing gym. You're gonna talk about the statues. You're gonna talk about like all the things that he's done. You're gonna talk about the organization that he helped out, you're going to talk about 100 black men. So it's a lot of stuff you're going to talk about if that man passed today. So I give that man his flowers right now. We don't talk all the time, but he know what it is.
That's
he know
what's
what
up.
it is.
Man, that's a great note to end on. Ty, thank you, bro. Keep doing what you're doing. And I your family, make sure y'all follow up. Let's get out there and support, and let's keep building each other up. I am HO.
You're listening to
Thanks, man. Great job, right? Great job. Great job.
listening to In My Humble Opinion, only on 101.3 Jams.
IMHO Talk Show. Still here, still standing. Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor, AA Ron. Man, thank our first guest for the show, none other than Mr. Ty Cooper. Y'all don't forget September 24th, Expo, Black Business Expo, one more again for the 6th year. And man, we got so much show, y'all. Razor, AA Ron, Max.
Hey Charles, before we go any further, I also want to touch on something that Ty had forgot to mention. The Woman in Film event, September 24th at 7:30 at the Vinegar Hill Theater.
Okay, that's what's up. September 24th, that evening. That's right. Good stuff. So yes, y'all make sure y'all follow up with LifeView Marketing, as well as at United Nations of Comedy.net. And man, so we're gonna take this middle hour here, because there's so much going on in the world, so many headlines y'all want us to tackle. So we're gonna do our best. And then don't forget, in the bottom of the show, we're gonna be joined and we're gonna welcome officially the new principal of Charlottesville High School, Brother Rashaad Pitt. And so far, the brother is making an impact in the community already. Ty and I mentioned the gala, the Minority Business Alliance gala, and he was there. Brother showed up. Shouts out to everybody who supported that. And man, there's just so much with the schools, in general, nationwide, and especially here locally. We're gonna tackle them. But for right now, man, before we jump on that tip, I want to bring in Queens Get the Money himself, MLS 555.
See, here we go.
Oh man, because something jumped out, and man, I got a text first thing this morning, like, y'all got to talk about this. And it wasn't from Aaron, it was from one of our loyal listeners. And it's about, as some of y'all may know, Bank of America is making headlines for, and I don't even know exactly what they call it at Ron, but it's like a zero loan is what I heard one referred to. And the fear is if it's going to take us back to the bubble, the housing bubble that burst back 2008, like to where when we thought people were being helped, come to find out they were preyed on by predatory lenders, right? So AA Ron, give us the insight and let us give our humble opinions on what Bank of America is proposing right about now.
Yeah, so Bank of America just rolled out a zero down payment loan that is actually going to be exclusively highlighted in quote unquote what we like to call minority or Black and Latino communities. And that's the main thing. It's not that the program is designed specifically for Black and Latino borrowers, but that you have to be able to purchase a property. You have to use the program to purchase a property in Black and Latino areas. And I believe it's LA, Detroit, Miami, Charlotte, and Atlanta. It's exclusively in
like, so it's for predominantly urban cities. It doesn't even matter if you're in an urban neighborhood like elsewhere.
Yeah, it's only being tested. And I say I only say tested lightly, because I think one thing that people have to realize, and we'll get into all the logistics and the text that you sent this morning, which was real constructive, is that it takes them years for them to roll out programs like this. It's not somebody just pressed the button and said, this is what we're going to do. They know whether or not the loans are going to perform or not. They know who they're marketing them to. Bank of America, this is a $1 billion company. So they're not rolling this out without possibly knowing the repercussions, possibly knowing the risks that are getting involved, and possibly also the main thing is knowing who their audience is. I think the timing, because we're going into a quote unquote recession, housing is adjusting a little bit. I think the timing is very interesting because of who's being targeted and when and what to buy. So there's a lot of different things in the program. There's some stuff that I like, but then there's some things that I don't like. But there's always solutions. But overall, I think it could work for some people, but there's too much information out here, Charles, for people to not be able to make an educated decision. And that's why even when I got that text, I was just like, we'll talk about it today, but it's like, look, if that program don't work for you, you can develop your own program within your own family to purchase a property. And I think we need to be talking about that more than we need to talk about what Bank of America is going to do.
That's deep. Thank you for the insight and kind of laying it out there. But AA Ron,
yep.
What about the folks that's saying, man, Now, brother, I'm gonna need to rely on you. I'm speaking third person right now, but like, what if the person's like, I'm gonna need to rely on you, like to look out for me, brother man, with the plan, right? Like you're on the inside, Aaron. And if I look at the history of Wells Fargo and Bank of America, they've been predatory. So why should I trust this?
You shouldn't.
Okay. I want to be clear.
You shouldn't. You absolutely have every reason to be suspicious. However, I do think that in certain cases, in certain families, the program could be beneficial. Like, for example, if you live in one of these neighborhoods in one of these areas and you wanted to purchase a property, and this allows you to purchase that property and get into the house, and you can afford the payment and you're okay with all the terms, and you plan to own that property for years, for 20 or 30 years, I think it's a great program. But if you think you're going to use this to flip a home or something in that nature, it's just not. You have to know your numbers, and most people don't know their numbers. Even during the subprime market, I think one of the things that people forget is that banks bet on people making mistakes. And a lot of people that bought properties during that time, I was one of them that bought a house and I lost the property only because I didn't have a long-term outlook. If I would have had that house today, I could have still turned it around for $400,000 and I still would have made a profit. It's just because at that time I was young and I didn't have a long-term building equity mindset. I had a very short-term speculative mindset. And so real estate is all about the long term. So I think it's more about educating people about the product. Does it work for you and your family? Again, if Bank of America is doing predatory practices, good. We have enough information out there to where you don't have to use the program because you still have to apply for the mortgage, Charles, and get it. It ain't just, they're just not giving out money in a brown paper bag.
No, wait, that's key though. So that's key because I will say I will give them a shout out for there is a piece in there that's like there's a course that you have to pass in order to get the loan as well. It's like a financial literacy sort of class course. And so like that part is good, but I got to call out my folks like Aaron, like my brother Sean Pendleton. Like all of us that are in there, even our folks over at NBA, Q and everybody, for us to get together and make sure that we're providing education and information for our people that they don't get caught up.
The problem I have with this, Charles, and this is just my thing before Max go, is that when I look at it, I can smell a crook from a mile away. Now, if you're telling me that you're catering it to the Black and brown communities, right before we know we're getting ready to go into another recession, I believe that they're willing to let a few people benefit their own life because they do what's right. But if people lose jobs, if there's no way for people to make money, you're going to default on these loans. So then they can then buy the properties and the houses for cheaper than what the market rate is. And then they can put them back out there for the people who like buy houses and rent them out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I personally, when I heard about it, I was like, oh man, this is great. And then my instinct started going off. And my instinct is only familiar with what I know. So when that instinct went off, I was like, no, this is crooked as all outdoors. If 10 of y'all out the 100 get it, hey, great. But I'm going to have 90 properties that I'm going to funnel back through to the people that can rent. Because my friends who really have money are going to get together and buy all these properties and then rent them out to people at 3 times the rent rate. And keep the money in the will.
Yeah, something that came to mind for me, and I don't know enough about the program to know if it's a good one or a bad one, but just hearing Aaron explain the details just now, and the areas where the loans could be used felt a little bit like gentrification to me. Now, I could be way off base, but like raises or like everyone has pretty much expressed, I think there's some reason to look at this thing really closely to make sure that it is what they claim it to be.
Yeah. Now, y'all, what I will say, and I'm sure Aaron has a rebuttal to a lot of that, but like it's the system, and as we talk about a lot on here, is that you can either use the system or the system's going to use you. You know what I mean? So, and what I think I hear Aaron saying too, though, is that yes, like this could be bad if you go into it blind. right? But if you're educated, you have that level of financial literacy to be able to see how this can benefit you, then it could be a good thing. Because like to me, y'all, the main thing with this, of course, like when I first saw it, definitely red flags, but also understanding the way that our financial sector works, my brain got to churning too on how it could be beneficial, because I know folks who've reached out for advice and support and whatnot, like, like whether it's bad credit score and like, but still need to get a home and what have you. So the thing is this, and I don't know if you mentioned this, but like they're not even attributing credit score. Right. So when you look at so when you look at not needing a good credit score, there's no down payment, all that kind of stuff. I feel like that's scary, but it could be good as long as it's replaced by qualifications that don't.
They do. Yeah. So they're not taking a credit score so for traditional lending, like what we do, they're not taking a credit score into the lending decision, like for automated systems, like normal, like, traditional mortgage lending does. However, you do have to have 2 credit scores. You can't have any rental or more. You can't have any late payments on rent within, I think, the last 12 or 24 months. You can't have a certain amount of collections. Like you can't just walk in there off the street and have bad financial habits and get this loan. That's one of the things that people. So you have to be a halfway decent looking person on paper. One of the things I want to address is what Razor mentioned, and Razor made a great point. The problem is that economically, Razor, sometimes, and this is not you because you're great at business, but people need to remember the way that Razor was just talking about banks assessing like risk and some of these loans defaulting. They do that right now. They do that right now in their everyday business. One of the most popular loans out there is FHA. FHA has even come out and said that African-American borrowers in certain communities, these people have a higher default rate. So, and FHA loans are traditionally more expensive. Now, they are an easier way to get into a property because you only need a 3.5% down payment, but don't get it twisted. HUD knows that there's default rates on these loans and they have adequate insurance and servicing tools to back them. I think one thing that everyone has to remember with these programs is that you have to take it with a grain of salt, but we have to look at what the numbers are. And this is for each person individually, and I say your own group within your family. African Americans right now have a 43% home ownership rate compared to 65 to 70% of their white counterparts, and Latinos have even come in, and I think they're at like 55%. If you don't own a property, if you don't own a single family home or traditional real estate or anything of that nature, housing is extremely important. So if you can possibly if this even gets your brain thinking about you owning a property, but you don't want to use Bank of America, then guess what? Clap and let's get it done. But you know what I'm saying? But Bank of America themselves, you have to put the side eye on it. Timing is everything. But listen, you can have your own Bank of America program in your home. For example, when I purchased my property, my investment property that I have now, my mom and my dad gave me a gift for that about 3 or 4 years ago to help buy that home. And guess what I'm going to do for my children? Give them a gift. For my nieces and nephews, give them a gift. So you don't have to, you don't have to depend on, I know Charles and I have been talking about family property and things like that. You do not have to depend on Bank of America to help you finance a property. What you do have to depend on is your own self and your own group and those people that live within your home. So I'm not going to give them that much credit. Listen, this is economic warfare. I expect Bank of America to do what they do. I also expect us to have a counter to that, which is for us to be more interdependent, develop our own resources so we don't have to depend on them.
And I definitely want to point out, that's a great point, that like I saw where you had to have a consistent history of paying your bills and things like that. So like I said, like those are the good aspects of it, Razor, to where they may be taking away some of the quote unquote barriers, but then there's still some sort of safeguard, some sort of qualification, like, which is commendable. But at the same time, everybody has to come into it, with some level of financial literacy. Now, my big thing though, y'all, is that, like of course the big catch is, it's folks that, they say it's for folks, particularly the minority community, that may not have a lot saved up, may not be able to put the traditional amount, percentage amount towards the down payment, may
Right.
have had bad credit, but but have proof that that they're improving their financial status. Here's my thing though. That's sort of like, like the glittery, like the shiny part of it on why they want you to take it. But, and Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but that interest rate could end up costing you more than what the down payment could have been. Couldn't that be a catch-22, Aaron?
Well, from the article that they put out on CNBC, it says the interest rate is actually going to be a little bit less than whatever the traditional market rate is going to be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be traditional because they're trying to incentivize, and this is what it sounded like to me. They're trying to incentivize people to stay in properties for long periods of time. A lot of these neighborhoods that they're targeting, let's be real, a lot of people, the school districts are not quote unquote, not necessarily good. In order for you to have a good school district and for you to build a quote unquote community, you got to have people that are invested in these particular areas. The issue with a lot of these places is that if the people don't own there, Charles, landlords don't care. How about landlords don't care? Landlords want you to pay your rent. I'm going to paint the walls, give you some new carpet. Landlords do not have an invested thought process, or slumlords, whatever you want to call them, in developing that community. Homeowners do traditionally. And so that's why they want it to be an incentive, I think, subconsciously, but we have to use it as an incentive that we get into our own communities. We teach, we learn. It's just the basic building blocks. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not waiting on Bank of America to try to provide something for my home, even if it is beneficial or not. If I have a little strategy and I can possibly use that program. The other thing, and real quick, I want Max to go, or anybody else, is that there are other local programs that are out that may not be what this Bank of America is, but like you have Virginia Housing, VHDA. That program require you to do home buyer education. You have U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's 100% financing. 95% of the whole country, you can get a loan with them. You have Maryland Mortgage Program, DC Open Doors, South Carolina Housing, North Carolina Mortgage. So there's so many programs that are available that are similar to this one. You just got to, like Charles said, you got to get with your professionals, like people like myself, get with a good agent and say, hey, look, what fits best for myself and my family? So then you don't even have to, I don't want to spend energy on Bank of America if that don't apply.
Right.
I need to spend energy on a program that is going to apply. You know what I'm saying?
Have they provided information, any information on the income requirements? Like, are they going to be set so high they box people out, or set so low?
Well, that's a great question, Max.
Setting people up for failure.
Well, no, that's a great question, Max. I believe that it is going to be based upon 80% of the AMI. We talked about that previously on another show. I can't remember who we had on, Charles, when we were talking about AMI, how that's calculated. But the average, the area median income. So it's going to be based upon that. And so that's the other thing. You think about a city like Charlotte, the AMI is high. And so in order for you to get a $350,000 house with zero money down, a family needs to make $85,000, $90,000 a year. So you have to have a certain level of income. You can't just give somebody something and it ain't going to work, Yeah,
that's the smart part, right? It's like this is a good deal. That's why I say it's kind of like a credit card, right, Aaron? It's like some people be like, oh, shoot, like I got this limit. Let me run this joke up. Yeah. But that ain't smart, like financially. You know what I mean? So just because it's accessible, you have to stay within your means, right? So yeah, like so you should be, if you should be using this and you can afford $150,000 house, don't be like, oh, well, shoot, I can go for the $300,000. No, we can't do it that way.
And this is another thing, Charles, that I want people that decide to take this loan, right? You got to understand, it's the equivalent to having a wolf by the muzzle. You know what I'm saying? So when you go into this, you need to look to see if they got little fine print that says, okay, only you and your family can be here. You can't, like Aaron always say, bring multiple people inside the family so you can protect yourself. So if they have these little words inside of here, all of what we're talking about you should do means nothing if a recession comes.
That's right.
Because just like you said, just like Aaron just said, landlords don't care about bringing up the community. Homeowners do, right? But if I can target your home, your geographic location, your zip code, right? And I let you go in there knowing that you're at risk of defaulting, just like Max said earlier, I can do gentrification because we gave it to you and you couldn't keep it. It's not my fault that you couldn't handle the recession.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
So
then I come through and I knock everything down and build it up to where I want to. They have plans that last 20, 30 years.
Foresight.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm afraid of. And that's why my instinct is going off about this.
It should.
That I don't think that I'm wrong. You
And
know,
then when they start building up,
then
when they start building up, how does that affect the neighbors? And then
they push you out. Look here in Charlottesville.
Right.
They're doing it right here in Charlottesville. They just have decided that they're going to push, for lack of a better word, please don't nobody get upset at me. It's a reason that we look at the crime rate being higher in Albemarle now than we do in Charlottesville City School. And that's because people can't afford to live here. So you take city problems and you move them out to rural areas, right? Yeah. So because if I can build up that city, we all saw what New York did. We all saw what Atlanta did. We all saw how when these cities moved in people that really had money, the city flourishes for the people from outside of that city coming to spend money. So that's why they're targeting our own areas. I'm telling you, I'm not wrong in this. I know a crook when I smell one.
Hey, look, so the last point I had is, Aaron, touch on how the narrative has been painted now that somehow Black folk caused the housing crisis, because I'm seeing that a lot. And the fact is, people of all communities had foreclosures, because even folks who had money also tried to take advantage of the system on like cheap properties, or like they overinvested.
The interest rate.
Right. And then inflation smacked them upside the head, and they realized, oh shoot, I can't afford all these properties that I actually invested in that I thought I could have. Like so Aaron, like what's the narrative you're hearing, like within the walls, and like how, and of course we know why Black folk get blamed. We know that. But I'm curious your point of view on the narrative being so heavily focused on somehow minorities caused the crisis, and now we about to cause it again.
I haven't heard that narrative, Charles, but if it is a narrative, it's just people out there. It's just people out there, just stupid people saying stupid stuff. The fact that you are even surprised that a community that is typically targeted and economically deprived has financial issues is a problem in itself. You think about that. So every year we find out that these huge corporations, Wells Fargo, had to pay out billions of dollars targeting Black people. Bank of America targeting Black, all these companies, and then all of a sudden people are like, oh my gosh, they defaulted on their loans. Of course they did. What did you expect them to do? It was set up for them to default on their loan. Exactly. I think that it's Black people are an easy target because we're an easy target. And that's the easiest way for me to say it. We are always blamed on, criminal depravity when most Black people out here are conservative, they work jobs, they take care of their families. Like we're just an easy target and an easy narrative, but also we're an economically deprived community. So we're always the squeaky wheel that's trying to get the oil. So we're always the one that's making the noise. Factually, do we have higher default rates and things of that nature? Absolutely. But here's the problem. I expect those things with some of the economic things and some of the employment. I expect those things to happen. So we can't individually allow ourselves to just be a scapegoat. Now, Black people didn't cause the housing crash in 2008. The reality is that Mr. George W. But he was a W. I can't remember which one it was. W. George W. But George W. George W. decided he thought that everybody should have access to housing. That's not true. It sounds good, but everybody is not going to be a homeowner. Just like Razor knows, everybody is not going to have access and be a good business owner. Everybody is not for everybody. And that's the issue. So they try to create products that finagled different financial ways for people to get into a property, but real estate is long-term. It's long-term. You being able to live in a house for 2 years has nothing to do with you being able to hold and keep a property for 20 to 30. And that's what they ended up doing. People defaulted. The one thing I want to go back to before we move on to something different is that all these products, Bank of America hasn't put it out yet, but all these products, for example, if you get 100% financing and you get like a grant, they have something that's called that the funds, let's say they give you 10 grand, they will say that money is due upon sale or refinance. So if you sell the property within a certain period of time, or you refinance the home within a certain period of time, those funds are due back immediately. Most bond programs in local communities, they had that available. Why? Because they want to keep people in properties for a long time. I always tell a client, you might want to look at this grant a little bit differently, because if they tell you that you got to stay here for 15 years, otherwise you got to turn around, turn that money back. Well, pay that money back. Well, if the property values flatten out, you're stuck there. So you have to make sure you have an exit strategy for everything you get into. The exit strategy is more important than how you get into something. How you get out of it is really beneficial. So I just want everybody to keep that in mind. I want everybody to keep that in mind, and then assess for yourself and your family. Put together your own Bank of America plan. Like I said, group economics and yourself individually for yourself and your family, your businesses, and just how you guys manage your finances is going to get you much further than anything Bank of America could throw at you.
If we learn delayed gratification, we can do that.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Now, unfortunately for some people, the shoe store is gonna go under if we perform delayed gratification. The ABC store, you know what I'm saying, is gonna have the, go under.
I see where
like there's just certain things that if we deprive ourselves of the fleshly things, we can have everything that we want in the end. But when you, like Aaron said, when you have a group of people that's so used to being at the bottom, we get satisfied with the least thing to make us happy.
That's facts. That's facts. That boy preaching. That's facts. Did you do the body this morning?
Every morning, yeah. Okay. But I ain't nobody preaching. Put that on me.
Miss Max, take us home. What else you got?
Yeah, no, I think it's a good conversation. We should go to break. Are we wrapping up this? Yeah. Are we wrapping it up? Or
I think so. Let's go and take a quick break, and then we can come back with I asked Max. BLM in trouble again. Ari Spears and Tiffany Haddish get accused of touching children. Let's go to break.
Lord have mercy.
Charles always want to gossip.
Ain't no gossip. I'm talking about my peoples. These are my peoples.
That is funny.
Got to call my peoples out. All right, let's do this, y'all.
Was that Rashaad or something?
Only on 101.3 Jams.
Was that Rashaad outside?
Miss Max.
Mm-hmm.
Every superhero need theme music. And it's the question.
Yeah, thank you. We have. It's been we asked the question last show, but it's been a minute. Got a good question for you, but a very serious question, and one that really impacts the Black community, and of course, it's relating to two very popular comedians right now, Tiffany Haddish and Aries Spears, and the current accusations against the two of them. Right. There are two individuals, brother and sister, who claim that when they were minors, I believe the sister is maybe 14, brother 7, that Tiffany and Aries coerced them into participating in a video where they had to perform sexual acts. And of course, the comics refute those actions, but the children are saying that they are very true and go into detail as to how this skit played out and what they were required to do and what instructions they were given and different things like that. I believe they came into contact with Tiffany knew their mother at least, and developed a
said they were friends
with the children, and then it sounds like it all gets bad from there. But this is with our cancel culture, and we've done it many times over. The question for today is whether or not we are ready to cancel Tiffany and Aries Spears. And I don't want to make light like this is so.
It's serious business.
Ask Max, because it's such a serious question. But we do need to talk about it.
We do because I think the water's running deep. Like when it comes to like these kind of issues within our community in general.
Yeah.
I mean, like we see our Kales. I mean, y'all ain't gonna get another 12 play.
Yeah. So now for 30 years anyway.
But you know. I don't know. I mean, like, I'm sorry for just jumping in, Max. Like which way you want to take it?
Just talk about it. Just make it a discussion.
So of course we all know how serious this matter is. When it comes to sexualizing in any way and which and traumatizing children and in any way. Man. So, but the first thing that jumps out to me is again the cancel culture is out of control. Like I fervently have said that because how quick people were to jump up and just automatically accuse as guilty, kind of definitely really startles me. Let's look at the facts of this particular situation. All right, so number one, and for those that don't know, like the website Funny or Die, like used to be like the YouTube of comedy. Right. Like 10 years ago, like it was where all the comedians put sketches and like short skits and stuff. So apparently they were doing it for that. Now, when I look at like the facts of what happened, was it in poor taste? Was it or like like is it hard to watch? Is it like unfathomable that like people would even think that was entertaining or funny? Absolutely. It was terrible. Terrible idea. Up up and down, like all the whole nine, right? But the question at hand, when we talk about whether they acted in any kind of criminal way, that's the part that's not proven. And so, but for folks to say that it was in such bad taste that they should be canceled or like criminalized or even like demonized just on the bad taste of it, like I can't rock with that. Now, if it gets proven that they actually molested or like they forced any kind of sexual acts that were not like against the will of the parent, we're talking about minors, and the parent didn't agree to it or whatnot for for their child to be with to play these roles. If they get found guilty of that, then like you got to throw the book out. Yeah. But from what I'm saying right now, Miss Max, is that this was no different than any other movie or TV show. And Aaron know where I'm going because he and I talked about this. And Aaron was like, "Bro, you sure?" But look, if they did not actually molest or abuse anybody, whether we like it or not, no matter how bad it tastes and how cringeworthy it is, I couldn't even get through the video. I turned it off. Like, that's terrible, right? But if it was nothing criminal, it's no different than you watching Law and Order SVU or you watching any other movie where a child has to reenact a role. Because if they didn't do anything criminal, that's what was happening here. It was a skit where the mother, who was Tiffany Haddish's friend and Tiffany Haddish's lawyer, has said this woman has tried to, extort money out of her for years. She's tried different ways. So we got to keep all this into play. And again, if they agree to this, and I feel for the kids if they were traumatized by doing the roles, I feel that. Yeah. But does that give any child actor that plays a difficult part the right to come back and sue because of a role they played? We got to be real about it.
Wasn't looking at it like that.
All right.
Who next?
Okay. So
I set the table for you, Aaron.
No. The problem. So, and I'm gonna use a razorology. I'm gonna use the book of razor on this one. Okay. If you decide that you want to get into bed with some pigs, you should not be surprised later on that you got a bunch of mud all over you.
That's right.
Facts.
And the problem that I have with this whole entire thing, number one, I don't understand at any point to where there was any comedic value from doing this at all. I don't even like. I need for them to explain to me how this would have been, because remember, they're marketing this that this is comedy and somebody would find this funny. It wasn't a serious clip. It wasn't a reenactment of a historical event. They said, hey, let's do this because people might find this funny. The other part is that Ari Spears came out and said he's probably getting extorted. You're right. You probably are. Mm-hmm. You probably are. Just like at this point, R. Kelly let me tell you something. R. Kelly is being extorted in ways that I don't even understand. He got everybody coming out here and saying, and R. Kelly gonna lose his whole fortune. But in the words of Razology, if you decide that you want to do muddy stuff, you do not get to pick and choose about what's going to happen. This was poor taste. I agree 100% with Charles that if there was no criminal activity, if there's nothing criminal here, then it needs to go away. But your choices and the kind of content you're creating are extremely problematic. Yeah. Extremely problematic. I'm not with a cancel culture, but if this is what Tiffany and Aries think is funny, I might just have to take a little back seat and say, okay, time out. Yeah, I don't even know what y'all was thinking about, but I'm no longer going to support your content. That's my stance on it.
Yeah, that's I even have trouble trying to formulate, you know what I'm saying? Because I do say things that are off tilt a lot, but I know personally, I don't rock with people that abuse kids. Absolutely. In no form or fashion. Like that ain't my, you know what I'm saying? That just ain't my thing. Now, when it comes to the criminal aspect of it, you have to look at that when you start talking about extorting somebody for money or ruining their career, or you have to look at that. Was anything criminal? Was it criminal what they did? Bad taste, absolutely. You know what I'm saying? And you can lose your career for that. Yes, but that's still may not go to jail. Yes, for it, right? Yes. And if it wasn't criminal and it was civil and it goes to where it's about a money type thing, right? So it's in bad taste, and she has to reap the ramifications of that. To not go to I ain't even going to people not going to understand that, but there are things that you just don't do. You know what I'm saying? Like there's just things that they're too traumatic for the people that experience them. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't make jokes about rape. You can't make jokes about child abuse. You can't make jokes about women getting beat. You know what I'm saying? Abused inside the house. Like there's just certain things that, in my opinion, you just don't do. You know what I'm saying? There are parts of life that are everyday life for somebody, but they should not be cast out in front in order for you to benefit financially. But if you do,
expect a rebuttal.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Johnny over here, Mike, can do the exact same thing and don't nobody say nothing.
Right.
You know, Jerry Lewis, and then come over here to and then come over here to R. Kelly, and it's the worst thing. It just comes with the territory. Like you don't get a chance to, like Aaron said, pick and choose. You know, because they did what's good for goose ain't always good for gander.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I do want to ask Max. I want to ask Max a question because I want to go back to the original point that Charles was actually making, and I want to hear specifically from Max.
Yeah, and then bring it home, Max.
Yeah. So Max, man. So how should we feel about an accusation that comes out and immediately, like Charles said, you ain't got a jury of 12, you ain't got nothing. You got public perception. And that public perception literally, like Razor just said, literally can end your career. Public, I don't know where we are as a society, y'all, but that's a little bit problematic because I think about this. Somebody could come out and say something about me, Razor, or Charles tomorrow. It could be categorically false. We might not even be in the same state that they in. They could be in another country. But because it's on the internet and somebody says it, somebody could say that that's true and our careers could literally be over. What are we supposed to do with this kind of thing, Max?
Max, before you go, there's been so much stuff swept underneath the rug though, that the alabaster box is full, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? So that's where the cancel culture comes from, and that's one of the reasons why I agree with Charles when he said this is wrong, but I also look at why it was created. Like it was created because so many people had to live with it while other people went on with their life like nothing was wrong. So then when enough people got together and said, you know what, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know what I'm saying? And if you aren't guilty, somebody else was. And we were able to go with it. I'm sorry, Max, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that I don't think that we as human beings existing in this world right now should get too surprised or taken aback by much of anything that happens in this day and age. Like this whole cancel culture accusation, how fast people are quick to accuse you of being guilty. It's just the way of the world right now, right? And people should learn from that they have to be more responsible in their actions. And then if it's a deal where you haven't done anything wrong, then it makes it much easier for you to address the accusation and prove your innocence. Not to say that everybody's going to be in agreement with you, but I definitely think it helps to kind of set the foundation for you to be able to refute whatever it is that they may be accusing you of, right? I mean, truth just has a habit of working that way. I don't. This is such an uncomfortable conversation for me. Like, I don't want our listeners to think that we are holding Tiffany and Aris to any other standard than these
not at all.
white producers. But I'm just putting it out there. White producers
yeah.
all day, every day. And get away with it and get awards for it and a pat on the back for it, right? It's when you guys say poor taste, I mean, I do feel like that's an understatement. We have a bad habit of sexualizing our children, and then being upset about it, distraught about it, what have you, when depicting our children in those type of ways comes back on any one of us in a way that we wasn't exactly bargaining for, right? Is art until it isn't. It's something else until it isn't, right? And so I personally think that it's art until somebody's face is plastered up on the wall saying, "Have you seen me amongst 200 other missing kids?"
Right.
And I think the adults, all adults, parents, whomever, you know, people making these films, you name it, we need to be more responsible with our kids. We need to be more guarded with our kids. We need not to be, you know, assigning placing a dollar sign on them, which, if this is the case, could very likely have been why these poor children ended up in the situation that they did, whether the mother thought that she was going to make some money, or whether she thought she was going to benefit from having the close relationship with Tiffany as she climbed to stardom, or what have you. Like, because if I as a mother were to ever choose to put my kids in some type of film, you best believe
Right.
I'm there. I'm there. It doesn't even sound like she was there.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
I know what's happening from A to Z. I'm in the room watching. I'm asking all kinds of questions. I know who's gonna be there. I know what they wearing. I know, like, and
that's right.
You know,
Can't let mom off the hook.
Right. And some
That's
people just be for real slipping on their jobs. Like, these kids are yours. They're yours to protect and take care of, and what have you. And they just, the value that's placed on that isn't where it should be, mother or father. So, and so, you know, I'm really, like, less concerned about this whole cancel culture type thing when we're talking about this situation. Like, if this is true, and Tiffany has talked about what her lifestyle was like before, you know, she got to where she is in life right now.
Yep.
And the things that she's dealt with. So is it possible? Is it like, I mean, hell, it's possible and likely with any darn body. We just one bad decision away from it. But it's wrong. And ain't no way to cut it to make me think that it's okay. It's not personal, right? It's not art. It's not whatever you want to call it. It's not that to me, right? This is a mimicking a real life thing that happens to people all the time who don't want it to happen. They get, you know, they become victims in the same type of scenario that they were trying to, you know, depict on camera. And you can't play around with trauma like that. You should never play around with trauma like that.
So is it because it was a comedy though, Max? Because like you said, we got to hold them to the same standard as any producer. So because they were joking about it and it not being, you know, like something to bring attention to a serious issue, was that the problem?
I don't know. So I haven't seen the footage that you've referenced, but ain't no parts of you telling my 7-year-old how to perform fellatio funny in any kind of way. Not now, not ever. Right. And if you things like you can't do wrong. I don't believe you can't do wrong for long and just completely skip away and walk away from it and think that thing is not going to come back at some point in some way. You may not choose to acknowledge that that's what it is, but karma, God, whatever you want to call it, those things come back. And if this is true, then that is exactly what's happening. And I don't know if I want to call it respect, but the right thing for Tiffany and Aries and whoever who may have been involved in this would be to be a woman and a man about it and say what they did do and offer these kids an apology and try to make some atonement for their wrongs.
Gotcha.
Happen.
Yeah,
and
then let's be clear. And Charles, you and I talked about this. Let's be clear. Aries
against the hour since last comment.
Okay, your last comment, but let's be clear. Aries has been wanting some attention for the wrong reasons. Coming out talking about Lizzo, coming out just making these, you know, just inflammatory statements. And so the irony of these allegations coming out with the Lizzo comments, we should not take that for granted. I think timing is everything, and it is not a coincidence at all.
Good point. Thank y'all for that. Miss Max, you good?
I'm the mama.
Mama talking. Queen Max.
I'm burning it down.
So thank you for that, as Max listeners, and of course you, Miss Max. And we're gonna go ahead and take this break. Bottom of the show, we are joined by the new principal, Mr. Rashaad Pitts of Charlottesville High School, and and we're gonna touch on some more topics along with him. Stay tuned, y'all. Tell a friend, tell a friend. Y'all know what it is.
You're listening to WVAI. Charlottesville 101 Jams. listening to In My Humble Opinion, only on 101.3 Jam.
IMHO Talk Show. We still here, still standing. Bottom of the show, Razor. Top of the last hour.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank y'all for staying tuned so far. We got still so much show for y'all jam pack in this last hour. You don't want to miss it. Definitely tell a friend, Seville. Tell a friend, tell your family. No matter where they at, they can't pick up 101.3. They can stream WVAI on that app. Go to 101 Jams, IMHO Talk Shows, Facebook page, Vinegar Hill, YouTube. Man, Razor, we stayed connected, so there ain't no excuse.
Damn.
You can't say you didn't know. Can't say you missed it. If you missed this show, it's your fault.
That's right.
And the Razor may come hang you over a balcony. So you don't know.
Now, see,
you don't know what Suge Knight.
That life is past me.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
I got children. I love the kids.
All right. My bad. I took you to the streets.
Yeah, my bad. I ain't that person no more.
I forgot. Like you do the body now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I love Jesus.
That's my bad. Hey, but without further ado, y'all, we are joined by none other than the new principal at Charlottesville High School, Mr. Rashaad Pitt. Mr. Pitt, how you doing, man?
Good evening. Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on here. Definitely it's humbling to be on My Humble Opinion. You guys invited me.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And I want to kick this off by, of course, we just getting to know you, but the presence that you've made already has definitely, made my heart glad. Like just seeing you in the community, because when I meet new folks that come here and they say, man, how can I get engaged? Like what's at the top of the list? And that's number one, is just showing up. Right. It's like people saying, man, like this guy's for real. Like he's going to be here. He's going to be a part of us and what we do, to understand. Right. And so, so I definitely want to applaud you for that.
Thank you.
Sure. So,
wait a minute, Charles, we got to talk about the important stuff. What position in football did you play?
Okay.
So,
good God Almighty. This is a man. I thought West was a man. You is a man's man.
So, I had the pleasure of playing when I was in high school, linebacker, fullback. As I transitioned to college, it was more defensive line.
Okay.
And I started off at Hofstra, and I was they recruited me for outside linebacker, but I was a little heavier coming into camp. So they moved me to defensive line, and I had the pleasure to play with some really good athletes. Started at Hofstra, finished off at Virginia State University. So,
okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Good stuff. Yeah,
my daughter graduated from Virginia State.
Awesome. What class?
Yep. What is it? 2022. So she was 2019 max.
Yeah.
2019.
That's right. Good stuff. Shout out.
I'm almost 20 years removed from Virginia State University.
Yeah, good stuff, man. So we are joined by CHS principal Rashaad Pitt. So Rashaad, Charlottesville, Virginia, right? And I understand that you're frat brothers with our, like with my boy Josh Epps.
Yep.
Like that's one connection.
Right.
But just tell us about like some of your connections here and what drew you to the city of Charlottesville.
Really the opportunity, but I would even go back 20 years. When I was thinking about colleges, UVA was actually one of the schools I was looking at. Okay. They, of course, they could send you like some, a pamphlet or something saying, hey, we're interested, send your film. So my godfather, Creighton Barry, who's a graduate of Virginia State University and a member of New Side chapter, chapter at Virginia State University. He came down here. I met Steve Ivory. I met Fitzgerald Barnes, and these were individuals that just showed me around and made me feel at home. Al Groh was the head coach at the time. So, just trying to get acclimated and looking around. But of course that, thinking about me being an out-of-state guy, they have a whole bunch of Rashaad Pitts in Virginia regardless of being recruited. I wouldn't have brought the ticket sales like they needed because I'm an out-of-state guy. So just thinking about it economically, there's always a level of politics attached to that.
Where you from?
I'm originally from New York.
Okay.
From the Bronx, by way of Rockland County, Nyack, New York. So between those two areas, I grew up.
All right, so let me go ahead and give you a warning.
Yes, sir.
Aaron Simmons.
Give it to him straight, Joe.
Yeah, like Aaron. Like you ever seen like the lion in the jungle? Like whenever they like if somebody's on their territory.
Right.
Whenever somebody else from another borough of New York comes in, Aaron puffs his chest up.
Yes, indeed.
He gonna have something smart to say to you. Like, don't get offended.
That's not true. That's not true.
We're gonna say on
the only borough that has a "the" in front of it is the Bronx. So I mean,
shots.
Saying none of the other boroughs. I had a young lady I dated that was from Queens. Went to high school, the Bayside High School. So the cute.
Aaron, that's your cousin, ain't
You see, y'all playing. Y'all playing. I'm gonna give him a little grace because I grew up in Money Earning, which is right next to the Bronx. So we kind of family. So we good.
Still ain't got no gun in front of it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Please continue.
Oh no. So just the opportunity presented itself. I was summer school principal this year in Richmond Public Schools.
Okay.
I saw that Dr. Gurley was in the area, well, the sub Richmond metro area. And I told him, I said, if any opportunities ever open up in your district, I want to be a part of that. I like how he's moved. He has a very great visionary, great reputation, an amazing educator. And, just from, I have friends who, do mental health services and worked with Dr. Gurley. He was like, yo, if there's anybody you want to mentor or want to be aligned to, that needs to be the gentleman that you need to do such. So just the timeline. So July 28th, summer school ended. August 2nd, I had my first opportunity to interview. I felt pretty good about it. August 5th, I had the second interview, and I felt like I was like, man, I don't know if they're gonna want me. I was being my authentic self. By August 6th, Dr. Gurley offered me the opportunity to be the principal at the Charlottesville High School here in Charlottesville City. So I was definitely a blessing. So I'm hoping I'm not disappointing. I'm just hitting the ground running. I started August 15th, but I've of course been back and forth and been in the leadership conferences amongst within the district and just checking in and connecting, and wanted to of course just go into the community and check with individuals, get to know who's who, just asking around, man. And if there's any other opportunities, man, I'm not opposed to going from South First Street to Ting Pavilion.
You got it.
I want to be everybody's principal. That's the goal.
That's what's up, man. Yes, like so when it comes to like why you're in education, because a lot of times, of course, like once you get to the administrative level and whatnot, like the income ranges change and whatnot, like, and we keeping it real. But when it comes to your passion, right? Because I know, my wife's an educator, like, so I know that you got to be passionate to really make a difference, because sometimes the reward is not in the money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like people will stretch you beyond to be an effective educator or a school administrator. Like I see it where you're going to be stretched beyond your job description.
Right.
You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so what's your passion? And, and within that, why Charlottesville? Because Charlottesville is a peculiar place. I know you've seen news and you heard things since you've been here.
Yeah, you got to know how to fight to be here.
Hey, look, man.
I'll reserve my comments.
Like, but why Charlottesville? Like, what's your passion for education?
Well, I know that just naturally, as you know, by my demographic, there's naturally a student body or a student group that I'm naturally going to be attached to. A lot of my similar experiences. My household, single parent household for a certain amount of time because drugs and was part of my household, and had removed. My mom was removed from the household for a long time. So just being able to identify with some of those things, witnessing abuse, certain things just are naturally, some traumatic and post-traumatic experiences in my life makes me identify with certain student groups more than others, if I like to say. But what I realized is that as I was going through high school, I lost my father as a freshman. Going into my sophomore year, my freshman year, that summer, that the school community, my coaches, teammates, they wrapped their arms around me. And, I could have went a couple of different ways, but the Heavenly Father saw fit to have these individuals, these educators.
That's right.
To, reel me in.
Definitely,
at certain times in my life was a loose cannon, but it was always some individuals that, hey man, you have all this potential. Why you don't want to squander that? And just from looking at the data attached to our school building, we have what is considered to be a barbell school, right?
Okay.
What does that mean?
Yeah, what's that?
So there's, one extreme to the other. So we have a really highly affluent student population and really lower socioeconomic. There really is no middle class, more so. So, and understand that, looking at the achievement data, our students, or the demographic, both the demographics are, of course, we're fully accredited, but there's some student groups that just need a little extra love and attention. I think that when for one, I can disprove some of the, for what is perception of what a Black educated male looks like to one particular student group. And then I can also have the opportunity to connect with those that look more like me and, probably haven't had a male figure in their household potentially, and show them that, hey, there's people that I'm here that you can trust me. Yeah. I want to be able to support you, but not falter from the expectation of you being a student and come with the intent to learn every day.
Yeah, that's deep. I love it. Family, we are joined by new CHS principal Rashaad Pitt, and I'm sure I'm sure these other guys here got have a lot of thoughts and comments, questions swirling, And y'all, of course, y'all know I gotta tell y'all to chime in. But I got a couple of things that's on my mind, Mr. Pitt. Like, and particularly, and I think we're seeing it more within the rural areas when it comes to the involvement of the government and parents, and what parents want taught. Like, you see books being banned and all that kind of stuff. Like, so when I hear you talking about certain demographic that you come from and how you want to leave a positive impact on maybe some students that have a similar upbringing as to yourself, of course, all noble, but like, give us some of your insight and like some of your tactics, like when it comes to folks who will point at that as a special interest and say, I don't want my tax dollars to go to help anybody there. But on the flip side, they'll say, but I want control, and I don't want you to have this book in your library.
Right.
Or you need, or I even heard some folks in rural, trust, bro, I'm from Madison County. I don't know if you ever heard of that. Folks, it's almost like they're trying to privatize public schools.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then whoever the majority in your district is.
Rashaad, Mayberry.
Fact. But yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like, I'm so to sum it up, I'm curious on your take on where we are right now within that aspect of the school systems, on how you have special interests of different demographics that are trying to privatize the public schools to fit the way they want their children raised instead of the whole.
Well, I think it all comes down to your district leadership, and I have an amazing school board. I have an amazing district leadership team that understands inclusivity and understands, that there are, though we've come a long way, we still have a lot of work, ahead of us. So I think it all comes down to, who's going to advocate on the district level and support within the site-based area. So I think that anytime we're aligned and they understand the vision, this is a very liberal area. And just looking at the student population and just how everybody's is just so diverse and inclusive, I'm definitely blessed. And even coming from the district I was in, understanding that voice and choice is important in order to get buy-in. So I think that when you think about the importance of those students advocating for themselves, or just having teachers who advocate for their students, this is just an amazing situation. So I'm just blessed to be here and be a part of it. And I had a student recently that was asking about, I want to get my work done at a certain time, and can I come in the building? You're saying this. And it's like, oh, well, I'm just saying that I want students to be supervised. But the fact that you want to talk about getting that extra time in academically, that's, not saying unprecedented, but it's something that I'm got to get used to, because it's normally like, hey, do as I say. Yeah. Now it's more so, hey, let's do this together. Just coming from the different districts I was working in. Yeah.
What are your goals or priorities for the school right now?
Really, at this time, it's more of a listing to understand, seeing where those areas are, because Dr. Irizarry did an amazing job in setting the school up for success. But seeing where those areas are that need extra support. We are level 2 in mathematics with our student groups. So seeing what we can do instruction to support those student groups, and also really staying connected to the community, being very relational. The school can run itself, but it's more so how can we connect the school and community so all students and all parties feel like they're a part of the school and they see themselves in the building. So I really want to make sure I'm getting out in the community and connecting. And having those conversations, getting to know community stakeholders, so that we can get whatever our students need in order to be successful.
Let's shift gears here for a second. you played sports, I played sports, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, a large portion of how a school is viewed is how that school acts when they go to other places, right? Now, you being from New York, which is a rougher place, right?
It's just different.
It's different. It's a rougher place. Look, you like, Aaron, y'all trying to change my words up. I know what I'm talking about. But when you take that, right, and you go to more of these rural areas and you play, there's going to be a depiction because the student body looks a certain way, right? It's not that you're worried about how these other districts view you, but at the same time, when you're looking for the buy-in for outside entities to invest into your student body, how important is it for us to teach our males and female athletes how to conduct themselves when they go to other people's gyms or fields?
I think it's very important, but I think that, we have hired amazing individuals who are modeling what it looks like, and I think that is something that we just have to echo, not only through our words but through our behavior. So presentations, everything, I make sure that daily, very relational, and I implement my expectations of them students daily, and also model in my efforts. So I think that that presentation piece is important, and I think that just making sure in all aspects, being relational and being with with the total student body, but also just again modeling those things that you want to see exude throughout the school community. So I think that that presentation piece is important, but also having individuals who are aligned with your vision of representing the importance of a positive school climate and culture.
Gotcha.
Good stuff. Good stuff. We are joined by Rashaad Pitt, new principal at Charlottesville High School, and I believe Aaron has something for you.
Hey, shout out to Mr. Pitt, NYC. I had to get it in. Hey, no, I appreciate your work, Mr. Pitt. I got two questions, but my first question is, growing up in a more, we like to call urban environment, but just growing up in a city environment, I think the one thing that I noticed when I got down here was the social environment was different. If anybody has ever gone to school in a city, you get on the bus, we're not riding on a yellow school bus. You're riding on a bus with a janitor, a banker, a teacher, and everything of that nature. So the first thing I wanted you to talk about is culturally, what were some things that you actually saw that were positives from your education that you were able to bring in to some of these kids in a totally different environment? Because I know there were certain nuances that you probably picked up, just like, oh, you know what, I can bring some of that city stuff here, and the kids, it might help them socially.
I just think that that's funny that you bring it up, that you can, at any given time, you may need to shift gears. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to, one, like you said, being able to talk to your friend or someone in the neighborhood, but then you might be next to someone that you don't know how down the line they maybe you cross paths. So like the banker, some other professional, white collar, blue collar individual. So I think that being able to be in a different room and be able to operate and move around, and then really, in the city, like they give you the bus pass and you just kind of go, like it was just like a level of autonomy and just a level of just independence that I'm seeing that. So just even within the school building, like students being able to advocate and do those things on their own. I just trying to encourage them to say, hey, look, if this is something that you want done, something you want to change, go back. It goes back to that independence piece. Like, let's go ahead and do it. We're going to provide you guidance, but you got to tell me what it looks like so that we can support you in those efforts, if that makes sense.
Right. Then my second question is an educational question. So I have a son that's attending a Southern school, and he called me the other day. He said he was switching classes because the way that the professor was teaching it was not suitable to how he was going to learn. And so how important is it? I know this sounds like a simple question, but how important is it specifically for Black female and male educators to listen to the kids when they start telling them, I'm having trouble learning this way? Because I remember when I was in school, everybody can remember, sometimes the teacher's like, this is how I'm doing this. And if you get it, you get it. You don't, you don't. And a lot of our kids, because of the environments, and even listening to Mr. Pitts talk about some of the traumatic things that he just experienced in life, we have to stop acting like that doesn't have an effect on how kids learn and how they intake the information. And so how important is it for our educators, and I like the word that you use, which is be able to learn how to pivot to listening to these kids and saying, taking some of those signals like, okay, maybe Mike or Keisha or Jim is not learning this way. Let me adjust what I'm doing to make sure that I'm impacting them educationally as much as possible.
I think it's imperative. Realizing that there's different ways we'll be able to differentiate our instruction to all learners, but I think that it goes to, it's funny you said that. I was looking at, I purchased a shirt that says, and I'm gonna be wearing it. I want to be able to market it. It's called Maslow's Before Blooms. Blooms being those Maslow's being the basic needs before we can do anything instructional, anything pedagogical. We got to be able to identify what the needs of our students are initially. How do they best learn? Do a learning inventory so we can be like, hey, I know that I could do more lecturing here, maybe not do it for a long period of time, but understanding the barometer or the pulse of your classroom, I think that's very important. There's kids that you can redirect or admonish in public, and there's more students who maybe ever have a student conference and have that behind the door conversation. So again, it comes to that relational piece. How do I understand the basic needs of my students before I can even open up a book or talk about any type of curriculum? How am I relating to the student?
Absolutely.
Hey, Joe,
absolutely.
It's that time, Joe.
Hey, well, I'll tell you what. Let's take a break because I think you're gonna go the direction that we're gonna go.
I know for a fact I ain't going the direction that you want me to go. But it's that time, Joe.
But hey, let's go ahead and take a break.
All right.
And then because you mentioned relationships and whatnot, and we definitely want to touch on that on your call to action, because that's one thing that we do here is that we got you on these airwaves, you got the listener's ear, and we don't let anybody off the hook. So the parents that's listening, the mentors, the community that's listening. Like, we got to have a call to action, and
we might be going the same direction.
I know you.
Might. You do.
But it's Sir Charles, Miss Max, Razor Aaron. We are here with new CHS principal, Mr. Rashaad Pitt. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Tell a friend. I am a Talk Show.
Oh, bro.
and My Humble Opinion Talk Show. Sir Charles, Miss Max, AA Ron Razor. Still here. And we are so delighted to be officially welcoming into Charlottesville and our airwaves, none other than Mr. Rashaad Pitt, the newly appointed first year at Charlottesville High School as principal. And, very impressive brother, if I do say so myself. And so, like as we close out the interview with you, just want to take the last, several minutes, like to talk about the relationship building, like when it comes to, you being, obviously a Black male in a power position at the city's high school, and then we have Black men in the community, like that's ready to mentor. We have, Black families that have Black children that are, like they have specific needs, as you already said, but when it comes to the community partnership that we've already discussed, like we need to know how we can help. Like, what's the call to action? How do you see the mentors get involved? The fraternity, the folks like that. So that's what we want to kind of tackle and leave our listeners with, like your vision on what community partnership looks like to help our young people. But I want to kick it to Razor because I know he has a more specific question around that.
Yeah, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, got you. Here in Charlottesville, you have to be able to navigate race relations, right? Like it is still very much in the fabric of what this community is based off of. 3 of the founding forefathers have plantations that run deeply around here. The university itself was based off of one of them, right? In my humble opinion, you have to be prepared for when you have a student body that may be divided based off of what they're getting at home, right? There will come a time where people won't look at you as a Black man. They'll look at you as a principal and ask you to table what is inherently inside of you. When that time comes, how do you think that you will approach it? Mm-hmm. If that's fair to ask.
I think that's a fair question. As I stated earlier, I think more what's important is that I can't run away from who I am. I can't run away from my experiences. So I know that I'm going to respond in what can be done to disprove, not persuade, because I think that again representation is important. But based upon my presentation, how I conduct myself, that a lot of those, you can't change all the minds, but I think that it's most important that I'm just being true to myself. That's all I can say, man. I know that I haven't been confronted with those experiences as I shared with you earlier. I haven't so far, man. Everything's been warm and fuzzy because I'm the new kid on the block. They want to see how I move first, right? Everyone's watching. It's a good thing, and as they're watching, I'm watching. But I think we got to be able to leverage relationships, leverage those partnerships, and I think it's going to be important. I'm really asking for y'all to pray for me.
Always. Miss Max got the prayer line.
I know that it took me a while because I know politically correctness is important, but I'm also going to be real.
You gotta be.
Yeah. This is my, of course, my first role, and all eyes are on me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't take it lightly. I told my children all the time I don't want to do anything to embarrass them or embarrass my family name. So if it gets to that point where I feel like those things are being compromised, then I'm going to govern myself accordingly.
And just so you know, great answer. And just so you know, like we would be doing not only our listeners a disservice who expect us to have these conversations, we'd also be doing you a disservice because you're new to the area. And if we say we're going to have a community partnership and we're somewhere where you can come and be a voice, then we got to like lay out the real issues, right? You know what I mean? Like, so that's why Razor asked that because like you've seen the news, like, Charlottesville's been in the news for the wrong stuff, for the past few years. And at CHS, like there's been student walkouts and there's been parents who disagree with it. You know what I mean? So these are things where we have activists, within the schools where these things are going to come up. So it has to be, something that you.
We can smack people. You can't.
So I got a question for you that came in, Mr. Pitts, via our
Yeah.
Facebook Live feed. It says, ask whether or not you see CHS experiencing the shift from the school resource officer contracted through CPD to care and safety assistance, and away from CPD.
Carrying safety assistance.
Yeah, those are
CSA.
formerly known as school security officers, but they have
Same thing.
more of a therapeutic approach because they are addressing things in a therapeutic manner. My CSAs do an amazing job of. They're my coaches. They're from the community and they're in the building. But I want to make sure I understand it quick. Can you repeat that question again, please?
Oh, let me see. Okay. I'm going to read it word for word this time. I'd be curious to hear how Mr. Pitts sees CHS experiencing the shift from the CRO, School Resource Officer, contracted through CPD, to CSA, Care and Safety Assistance, away from CPD.
I think that it's definitely something that I've kind of inherited. I think the most important thing is that, and I know I keep driving it home, but we don't have metal detectors in our building, and currently we don't have SROs. So that relationship piece is important. That see something, say something is important. I want to make sure all my students go home safely. So I make sure I'm very visible. I know that, and my admin team is very visible. My CSAs and my teachers very visible. So I think that some of those things, those safety and security concerns, because the students see the adults in the building as trusted individuals, whether it not be me or someone else, they see them as trusted individuals. And before something escalates, we're able to kind of get that intel and be able to have a triage of support for our students. We have a lot of mental health support within our building that the district has supplied us with. I think that relationship piece is important. I can't get away with that. So even if we had SROs in the building, again, that's another form of relationship because they know what's going on in the community, and we still have a relationship with them. And we still were able to get that information because they know how important safety and security is to our building. So also preaching to my and sharing with my teachers that don't just wait till we get that negative aspect of our student behavior. Let's start reaching out now. Again, the more parents see the school place as a place of solace and safety and refuge, the trauma that's attached to some of our families based upon, some individuals who were there who taught them before, and they think, I don't want to go up to the school because I don't look a certain way, I don't speak a certain language. But when they see it as a place of I'm getting resources and my students are learning well, and it's a comprehensive situation, then the less there are opportunities for things that can compromise that, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I know that your vision for the school will be only as successful as the buy-in from the people that work with you, alongside you. How would you say faculty and staff has responded to your path for moving the school forward? And
I would say
that's a razor question. How you come, Max? How you doing like that?
But she make it sound sweet.
Yeah, she make it.
I would say, from my experience, and again, this is only we're going into week 4. I would say everyone's on board. I mean, and those individuals that have had some questions about things or decisions made have come directly to me or someone in the admin team, and we address those situations. So again, I try to make sure I'm transparent, and I try to make sure I'm approachable, even though I'm 6 foot and 300 pounds. I try to make sure I smile and I'm approachable, and I try not to, do, because they see me not smiling or see that I'm thinking, then they think that something else is on my mind. But I want to make sure I'm very approachable because I want to be able to have those conversations. Even students, making sure I'm available and accessible, not saying no, but saying not right now. And hey, what are some things we can do to address your concern?
You know how Kenan and Kel had that skit where the guy stood behind him when Obama they were saying,
Yeah.
"Hey, if you need me, I got you." Cuz I'm just trying to tell you.
That was what that came with you.
Was it Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Key and Peele.
Yeah, Key and
I'm going to correct you on
No, that's all right. I'm gonna get you back. Yeah, you don't come to my house. You take your shoes off when you get up in here.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes, sir.
don't Rick James my couch.
Yeah. So, Mr. Pitt, before we let you go,
Good question.
yeah, absolutely. We so what's our call to action? Because I can imagine, someone who has as much foresight as yourself and that passion, like you don't stumble into a position like this. So when you think about community partnerships, what does that mean? What is your expectation of the parents, of the volunteers, whether that be frets, whether that be mentors and things of that sort? Like kind of run down your list of what community partnerships,
or what you're lacking.
Yeah.
What you're lacking.
At this particular time, we're definitely doing a resource assessment, if that makes sense. So what is needed? But I know that just looking at some of the discipline data, though we make up students of color make up 31%, they're, disproportionately getting more of the discipline attached to certain things in the building. What I noticed and connecting with my admin team is just having those individuals that they can connect with our students. City of Promise, we have Mocha. There's another one I don't want to mispronounce. Is it what's it?
There's 100 Black Men of Central Virginia.
Gentleman named Robert Gray. He's attached to it.
Bird.
Yeah. Now he has Peace in the Streets and was it the Uhuru
Yes,
Foundation?
yes.
Uhuru Foundation.
So identifying, we have students that just need some students actually in extra need of care that we want to be able to check in with, provide opportunities for exposure, career and college readiness opportunities. I want our students to be able to not see life outside of Charlottesville. I want them to be able to experience success, because everyone's not going to college, and that's okay. There's students that are probably making more money than me right now, who are in a vocational field.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Man, that is so refreshing to hear an administrator say that.
Yeah.
So refreshing.
CTE, of course, the disciplines are important, but CT, career and technical education, very important.
Absolutely.
Knowing, understanding the purposes of finances and how to balance a checkbook and how to invest.
Absolutely.
All things that I've learned to get better with, or just learning as an adult.
Yep.
But if our students are able to capture that now, that can save them a world of trouble or debt.
Yes.
Before they can go into, from leaving high school, being homeowners. I had to wait till I was 31 to be a homeowner. So again, I definitely want our students to have all the experiences that I did not. Of course, as their parents that did not. I know we probably have some first generations, or just I want them to be able to create their legacy based upon their successes from CHS. Very important.
Good stuff, man. And definitely as you're doing that resource review, please keep us in mind. Like, however we can use our platforms to help get the word out, and like to promote that need. We are definitely there for you. And that's
one of the biggest things that's missed. What Charles is touching on is that a lot of people come and they say, "Man, y'all doing great work. I'm gonna reach back out to you," right? But when the ills of life start happening, you focus on what you got in front of you, right? Not realizing that when Charles pushes that button, we reach thousands right off the bat. So the person that you can't get to, we can get to the person that can get to them.
So can I say something?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna say it anyway.
Right, well, there it is. So just have a dual level of accountability, right?
Absolutely.
So if you see or hear things, and you see there's a need, hey, Brother Pitt, can I bend your ear? Can we have a conversation? I'm not. Again, I have the new brother smell on me. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make sure, there's a lot of political landscape, but I also want to still stay very connected to you guys can come and approach me and be like, hey, this is maybe a need, this may be something that you want. Let's have a conversation on how we can best utilize that. I want to talk to my admin team, talk to my leadership team, how we can implement it in the building, but I'm not opposed to doing anything that's going to benefit students. I'm not going to do anything I'm not opposed to anything that's going to shake things up and make our school better, man. And wherever those areas of concern or levels of concern are now removed because of these conversations. I'm not opposed to that. So Raise, I need you to, check in on me, Doc.
Hey, I'm there. I'm there.
Brother Smith, I need you to check on me, sir.
Lewis.
He looks like a Smith. He got his DeKente cloth on, so he looks like a brother Smith.
I will say though that as a new Black leader here in the city of Charlottesville, it's just refreshing to hear you talk about how you want to keep the lines of communication open and dual accountability and listening to the needs and trying to meet those needs. And if I had one word of advice for your tenure here in Charlottesville, I'd just say to keep that thought process throughout the time that you're here.
Sister, I promise I will. And if you don't, I know you're gonna have a conversation with me.
Hey, I wanted to add one thing before we get finished. I just want to stress to the community. And I thought about this. I was watching a football game. I think Mr. Pitts will relate to what I'm saying. With our Black educators, Mr. Pence has a vision and he has a plan that he wants to execute. But that doesn't happen tomorrow. He needs time. He needs the community to be patient with him. And it's a journey. And the reason why I was thinking about that is because if anybody watches college football, the brother at Notre Dame, he lost his first 2 games. And me and my girl was talking. I was like, oh, he about to get fired. I said, right. Because a lot of these schools don't have a level of patience, specifically when it comes to Black educators, because we have these improper expectations as if they don't need time or have a process that they need to institute. And so I just asked the community to have patience, encourage him. There's some stuff he's gonna do, you're gonna love. There's some stuff you're gonna do, you're gonna like. But that's what leadership is, So just continue to do your thing, man. And we support you, and IMHO support you in any way we can.
That's great.
I appreciate that, Doc. Really do.
Very true.
Do. Despite your borough affiliation.
I love it. I love it.
Man, you guys got me getting all misty out of here, man.
And you're at home, man.
God bless his soul. My former principal at George Wythe High School.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Riddick Parker Jr. His pastor for kids. We used to crack a joke at any time we get him emotional. We say, don't get up there and start Dick Vermeulen. Dick Vermeulen. I appreciate you guys. And ma'am, I do. I want to be successful, and I know that I cannot be successful without my community with me. Not behind me, but standing shoulder to shoulder.
That's right. Love it, man. We definitely here for you. And before we go to, we did, and I'm sorry to sort of like to step on your toes, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this because I got a flyer sent to me from Albemarle County Schools. I'm sorry, bro. You don't mind if I announce this?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool.
He's a stone temple.
Yeah, because we all work together.
He steps on toes. That's
like we all working together in the community. But
he's a habitual toe stepper.
Yes, he is. And apologize for why he's doing it to you. That's how he rolls.
Hey, but you know what though? But Mr. Pitt did shout out, Dr. Eric Arizari, and so he and Yana Mitchell wanted to make sure everybody knew about the community partner kickoff Thursday, September 22nd, at K-Tech Auditorium. Right. And you can reach out to them, reach out to central office if you want to be a vendor, businesses, organizations, all that. So community partner kickoff sponsored by Albemarle County Public Schools, Thursday, September 22nd at K-Tech Auditorium. So, man, thank you, Mr. Pitt. On behalf of Razor, Miss Max, Aaron, and that dual accountability. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for mentioning that, for calling us out, because that is what it's got to be about.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta close shop. We gotta take it home, Miss Max. I think it was another great show. Thanks to all the listeners. People are chiming in saying thanks IMHO for the amazing guest and conversation today. Glad to have Mr. Pitt in the community. So there you go.
Wow.
Thank you. So Miss Max, take us home in your own fashion.
Yeah, it was a great show. I appreciate the conversation, and you can't buy this type of conversation, quite honestly. It's great to talk to the locals in the Black community and hear the work that they're doing and the passion they have behind it and why they're doing it. And sometimes we get kind of mixed up into why somebody's doing what they're doing and things like that. But it's all for the greater good of the community, right? We like to pass judgment, but even though we may not be working in the same section that you are, doing the same type of thing that you are, our work doesn't look like the same way that yours does. We are all contributing to the overall good of the Black community, the Charlottesville community. And so I want to thank our guests for joining us today. Good show.
Thank you.
You know, we'll see you guys next time.
Peace.
Great job, man.
I'm not so on, right?
No. You're up. You already killed the mic.
Okay.